Sorry, folks, slight technical hitch. Okay, well, good morning and welcome to our Mid-Kent College Virtual Open event this morning. Thank you for taking the time to join us this morning. My name's Steve. I'm going to be your host for the next 30 minutes or so, and I'm joined by Charlotte this morning. And this morning we are talking about construction and the built environment. So hopefully you're in the right session because that's what we're going to be covering this morning. Sorry about the slight technical hitch at the start. That was Simon Cook, our principal, who was obviously so keen to say hello to you this morning that he jumped in before he was supposed to. So apologies for that. Obviously, November, we would normally be doing something very different. You know, we normally run 4 massive events in November where thousands of people come in and see us and have the opportunity to have a look around our campuses and talk to our teaching staff. But obviously, you know, unfortunately, that's not something we're able to do right now. So we really hope that this format and this virtual event will give you some of the information you need to help make a decision about your studies for next September. Just a little bit of housekeeping before we start. I see some of you have already found the chat panel over to the right-hand side of your screen, and you're saying hello in there, so I'm guessing that means you can hear me as well, which is fantastic. If at any point during this morning's session you'd like to ask a question, then pop it in the chat, and we'll pick those up for you. We've got Lise and Elizabeth who are looking after you in the chat today, so if you ask a question that they know the answer to, then they'll answer it there for you. If not, they'll flag it up as something that I can ask Charlotte a little bit later on in the session. So what I'm going to do, as he was so keen to come in a little bit earlier, I'm going to play a short video from Simon Cook. Simon is our principal, and he just wanted to make sure everyone got a welcome to these sessions this morning. So I'm just going to play something from Simon, and then we'll hand over to Charlotte to tell us a little bit more about construction and the built environment.
2020. I'm Simon Cook. I'm the Principal Chief Exec of Mid-Kent College, and I'm really gutted that we can't see you face to face, because it's always such a great moment for us every year in November when we welcome so many visitors into our open events to come around our campus, our buildings, and more importantly, face to face to meet our staff and to hear about what options there are ahead of you as you make your choices and your decisions for next year, or for some of you the year after. Nevertheless, of course, we can't do our normal events because of the current situation that we're all in. So I'm pleased that we're able to offer you a virtual open event, which still hopefully gives you the opportunity to find out as much as you need to find out to make those choices that are important for your future. There isn't anything that's more important for us than you taking the time to make the right decisions for you and finding out as much as you need to find out in order to make those decisions. Just remember, no question is a silly question. Whatever it is that you really wish to ask, please do ask one of the team, and if you can't find your answer in the virtual open event, there's more than enough of our staff around to be able to answer those questions after, so please do ask. So I hope you enjoyed this webinar. Don't hesitate to use the chat function to ask questions, and make sure that you get the information you need from today's sessions, and I look forward to seeing you next September. Best of luck.
Okay, well, thank you very much to Simon for recording that welcome for us. So what I'm going to do, Charlotte, is just bring your slides up on screen. So hopefully, there we go. So you should be able to control those now, Charlotte. So over to you for construction and the built environment.
Excellent, thank you very much, and good afternoon, everybody. I just thought what I'd do is an overview of the course, the units that are involved, and what it can lead to. So this is going to take us through nice and steady. So it's a BTEC Level 3. The full title of the course is National Extended Diploma in Construction and the Built Environment. It's awarded through Edexcel and Pearson. At the end of the 2 years, it's equivalent to 3 A-levels. It's 15 units in total, and again, that will be split across there. And within the 15 units, we've got 9 mandatory units. If I now flick through so you can see what the units look like, these here also split into a kind of different categories. So units 1 to 3 are exam and control assessment. Units 1 to 9 are our mandatory units, so that makes it nice and easy for us to manage. If I talk about the course structure as a whole, and then what I'll do is show you that in a little bit more detail. I'll talk you through that. All of the units with BTEC are fantastic because you don't pick up a skill, drop it, and then not apply it again. So what these units do is we actually apply the skills and knowledge you create in one unit, and we continue to build on that through the others. Construction Principles is a double unit. It equates to 120 credits. It's an hour and a half exam, and that's usually at the end of the year. That involves science, maths, and human comfort. But the good thing is it's not the maths that you would have been doing as your GCSE. It's building on the formulas that you used, but applying it to construction techniques. So with the science and the human comfort, that's more about how many lights we put in a room, how we make sure that we've got enough ventilation to make sure that we've got enough air for us to work with. It's the comfort. It's just making sure that the buildings we build are suitable for what their requirements are. Construction design, that gets a little bit more interesting. That also links in with Unit 4 and Unit 7. So in Unit 4, we learn about the technology. In Unit 7, you do some manual drawing, plus also you start to create some 3D drawings of buildings. Both of the skills you learn in those, you apply into your exam in a controlled assessment in Unit 2. So Unit 2's got a 12-hour controlled assessment over a period of 2 weeks. Within that, there's 5 questions you answer. The first one's on sustainability. You get 2 questions on the scenario in the building you're looking to create. The 4th question is you creating hand sketches, and the 5th question is you coming up with a full 3D design of a building. We've had some really interesting scenarios so far. So we've had a sports centre where you design the outside, you put it so it looks realistic, and then you design the layout of a changing room. We've had a drive-through coffee shop. We've had a set of retirement flats, but they needed to incorporate different things. So it's getting you really thinking and pushing the boundaries of how you would actually become creative in those minds. So if you're looking to be an architect, or even if you're looking to be a quantity surveyor, you'd look at that in a different way. So our architects would push the boundary on how they would create the design and make it interesting, whereas your quantity surveyors may be looking more at the costings on how they would fit the buildings out and what materials they'd use. Unit 3, tendering and estimating. That's a second year unit purely because you won't have enough information or knowledge within the first year for you to be able to complete this with any depth of information. So again, all of the information you learn in your first year, we're bringing that through into the second year. And much the same as Unit 2, it's also a controlled assessment, and that's 12 hours again over 2 weeks. So again, you'll be dipping in and out of that for your 12 hours to actually come up with the costings of a building. Last year, they had to come up with full costings for 250 houses on an estate with different sort of sizes within those. So you're actually applying some of the maths you're using in Unit 1. You're learning information in Unit 13, which is measurement, and then applying it into the exam for tendering and estimating. Health and safety, can't get away from that. Everyone's dealing with health and safety. It's there to make sure that you are safe at the end of the day and everyone else is safe around you. But again, in this instance, whereas before we would have been telling you about the legislation, about the regulations, now you're actually applying knowledge. So we give you a scenario. You're going to demolish a building. It's got asbestos in there. It's been derelict for a little while. You need to come up with a risk assessment. So your industry placement that you'll be doing as a part of the course will also incorporate in your health and safety. And so you'll be using some of the knowledge you gain from that and actually put it into your course. Surveying, it's one of our more practical units. You'll probably see lots of shots around of us outside surveying. Rain or shine, we'll be out there because unfortunately in construction, we can't control the weather and you need to get used to using the equipment in the conditions that you've got. We use all sorts of equipment. So we go tape measures, we use optical levels, we use the odd lights. And now we're going to be starting bringing in total stations and also looking at some drone technology. With that, lots of maths involved, lots of drawing involved, and again, lots of time spent outside, so that's really nice. Graphical detailing, briefly mentioned, kind of practical. It's about a 50-50 split between a practical and a write-up. Building regulations, great unit. If you wanted to adapt anything that you've got at home, if you wanted to put an extension on, by the time at the end of the year one of your course, you will be able to come up with your drawings, you'll be able to come up with the specification, and you'll be able to actually look at the regulations that apply to the building that how you was looking to adapt it. Then just briefly going through the rest, Unit 9 management. It's from site control, site management, site layout, project planning. So again, it's going to give you a nice broad spectrum into what you're looking at. So if you wanted to be a project manager or site manager, great unit for you to have, but generally a really good unit for you to have an understanding of how all the different roles interlink within the construction projects. Building surveying. Not too sure if your mum and dad are actually going to enjoy you doing building surveying because it's about your home. So what you'll be doing is you'll be doing measured surveys, you'll be doing dilapidation surveys, you'll be doing condition surveys. So looking at what's really around you. So you might be going, Mum, Dad, we've got a few cracks in here, we really need to sort this out. But at the end of it, you will have some knowledge and skills into knowing how you can repair it and how much it costs to repair it in the same point. Measurement is the first part of quantity surveying. So you'll be looking at drawings and taking the details off drawings to see how much material you want to then put into the second part, which would be tendering and estimating. So our QSs or budding QSs are looking into that. Provision of building services, that there is kind of, we can put a building in place, but without the building services, the building just doesn't come alive. It's an empty shell, it's got nothing in there. So building services in this instance, it'll tell you how water flows around your building, so hot, cold. It'll tell you how it goes away. So you've got your drainage systems, you've got your drainage off the roof. Then we look at a little bit into electrical supply, and then you kind of, that's everything that you would give you the knowledge about you in your home and anything regarding domestic appliances. Further maths, unfortunately, that's in there purely because the course is set up to aid you if you wanted to do construction, civil engineering, or building services. So if you're looking to do civil engineering, further maths is there. 2 out of the 3 units, I'm really confident that once you've done unit 1, you'll find no problem with it at all. And even your GCSEs will really help you out with those. There's only one tricky assignment in that one, but we're here to support you and get you through that. No matter what it is, we can put on additional sessions. Work experience ties in beautifully with the study program. So this is to get you ready for your industry placement as a part of your study program, but also really getting you to think about how you want to progress in the field that you're looking at. So if you're looking at architecture, really to get you looking at places you can go to build on those skills. Or if it's quantity surveying, so it's getting you looking at companies, skills, knowledge, behaviours that you'd need for those, but also reflective practice, because we all need to reflect on what we've done. So we've got the first part, which is us getting ready for industry placement work experience, and the second part is us reflecting on what we've done. Projects in construction, I absolutely adore this unit because you all get a chance to do something totally different. You pick a building and then you talk about it. So if you're a great football fanatic, I've learned so much about the Tottenham football stadium, Arsenal football stadium this year that I didn't even realise was there. If the Shard, it is a case of looking at what's around you and then writing about it. So why was it designed in that way? What features has the building got? How do they mix the features of the building with the aesthetics? So Tottenham Football Stadium has got its own brewery in there. Didn't know we had its own brewery, but it's another income within that. The Shard, it's got multifaceted buildings. So we're actually, as the building gets smaller, they're actually earning more money from the floor plan. So the apartments are up there because they're gaining more money from the view. So that's how we're kind of, as an industry, needing to look at it. So we're getting more for our building and what it's going to be used for at the end of it. And then for the civil engineering, this is where we go sort of larger. So you're looking at excavations for roads, railways, the type of plant, the type of machinery, and a different sort of maths in our civil engineering unit. So that's a summary of all of the units. And then I just want to give you a brief overview. Oh, here we go. Here's some of our students that have been doing some practicals. So the drawing to the left-hand side of the screen is actually one of our current students. He's looking to go into architecture, and he's sketched out on point perspectives of Trellick Tower. So that's a brutalist architecture. So he was looking into different things around his course. You've got a bit of 3D design on the top drawing. We've got one of the theodolites and the practical the other part of that. And then to the right-hand side is someone's actual floor plan of their house. So that was from the building surveying unit that they took. So they're kind of some images to go with the course. And then just really, if I studied this course, where can it lead me? So if you look at us at the bottom of here, we're in further education, level 3 and A levels is at the bottom of that run. We can go a couple of routes. So we can go into higher education, so our level 4 apprenticeships, HNCs, HNDs, we can do that at Mid-Kent College, or we could go through to university. Or if you didn't want to do that route, you could go straight into university and study a degree programme. So this here is fantastic entry criteria. You're going in with not only a great level of academic ability, but you're actually going in with a lot of technical knowledge as well. So rather than you maybe studying A-levels and going in with some really good academic skills and then having to learn the technology, you're going in there with some really good solid technical skills and knowledge and behaviours, and then you're actually applying that and then building your actual academic level with the levels that you'll be doing. So there's kind of one of the routes to go to. And then here's a real just snapshot of different courses you can do. So as you can see, this here is about as many as we could fit on the page. The course that you're studying really kind of explodes on the different areas and the fields that you can do. So this here, within this, you've got all of these roles in construction, you've got all of these roles in civil engineering. So again, the size of the company, it would vary within that. So there's just a limited view of that. So again, you can study those at college or university. You could leave this course and go straight into a job. We've had some fantastic success from our industry placement. So in 1 year, we had 7 students go out on their industry placement. They proved themselves that well on their placement that the company decided to create a job for them. So you're actually proving that, and you can go straight into a job. Or you can go on to higher apprenticeships. Again, this here is something that's really being pushed within the industry. We're trying to get young people coming through, and once you finish this course, they are really, really chomping at the bit for us to pass you on. And we also do civil engineering, quantity surveying, and construction as a high apprenticeship at Mid-Kent College. So you don't necessarily need to go further away. You can stay with us and do those. And then if you also have a look in the handout that's on the top tab up here, there's more you can find out about it. So if you've got a real understanding that you go, I think I want to do civil engineering, but what does that actually do? These are the chartered institutes and the places where you can actually look and see what real people they're doing in realistic scenarios. So if you want to look at civil engineering, you can go, okay, what does that do? Well, we're looking at roads, we're looking at railways, we're looking at airports, ports. Anything you need from the minute you walk out of your door to where you get to go, a civil engineer has interfered with your day in some way. So with that there, you can actually really start drilling down into where you're going from. Chartered Institute of Building. So again, if you're looking at anything construction related, we've got Chartered Institute of Building Services Engineers, and then we've got the Royal Institute of Chartered Surveyors for anyone out there that wants to go into quantity surveying. So that's kind of what I've got so far on that. Steve?
Okay, that's brilliant. Thank you very much, Charlotte. So what I'm going to do, just to give you a chance to grab breath or grab a sip of drink or whatever you need to do, I'm just going to play a short video because you would expect us, wouldn't you, to say fantastic things about the college and brilliant things about our programs. But if you came to a normal open event with us, you'd also have the chance to speak to our students and hear directly from them about their experience of the programs. So before we come to questions, I'm just going to share a short video where a few of our students are just going to tell you a little bit about how they find this particular program. So don't forget, get those questions in the chat too, and we'll come back and pick those up in just a sec.
My name is Sophie Butler and I am doing the Level 3 Construction and Built Environment course. I'm quite a practical person and I like the idea of practicality, and this is a technical course, and I thought it would be better for me to do a technical course first before I go out practically into the industry. My favourite one has been Unit 7 probably so far. It's basically architectural drawing, so you do floor plans and site maps and stuff like that, and it's really good. It was really fun, I liked it. I like that one the most. I went to Walker Construction, their head office in Ashford, and they really did help me because it gave me a bit more confidence, not just on site, because I did do on-site work with another company. It's just they gave me confidence within an office environment instead of a practical one. So I was with a load of other people and it was professional work, but it made me feel like an adult. They didn't treat me as a child, which is what I really, really, really wanted from them. But I do want to do an apprenticeship because I just feel like learning in a classroom is quite limited, whereas in the practical industry I can learn while I earn, which really does help.
Okay, brilliant. So we've got a couple of questions, Charlotte, that we'll come to. The first one's for me, so you can still relax for a minute because I'll deal with this first one. So, in terms of how you can get a recording of this session, because Charlotte's just given us a huge amount of information about the structure of the program and specific details about what those units will cover. So if you want to go back and revisit that, when we finish today's session, about 15-20 minutes after we finish, you will automatically be sent a link to a recording of this video. So if you want to go back and check anything, you'll have the ability to do that. If you've heard something this morning and you think, actually, you know what, this is right for me, but actually this sounds like something that either a friend or a family member might be interested in too, then you've got the ability to share that link with them so they can find out more about the program too. So you will get a link to a recording. And we will probably from Monday, Tuesday onwards, we'll put a copy of today's session along with all of the other webinars that we're recording at the moment up on our YouTube channel, which we'll link to from the website as well. So you will get that. Charlotte, we've had something come in through email rather than in the chat, which is asking about what resources are available to support students with their coursework. Is that something you can answer for us, please?
We've really been working on that due to our COVID restrictions and actually working off-site a lot more than what we would have been normally. So our ebooks are expanding. So we've got access to all of our resources via ebook. We use Moodle to put all our course material on, plus also we've got face-to-face contact. You also will have a set list, an equipment list at the start of the year that we will give you. That will have the technical book in there. That's the main one that you'll carry through, the course handbook, plus all the other equipment you'd need to either be working within college or outside of college. So it's not a point where you need to spend out a lot of money. It is a small amount of money to get you through, and then what we do is we support you with the rest of the resources you need from there.
Brilliant. Thank you, Charlotte. This has been answered in the chat already, but I just want to ask you it just so we can clarify it for anyone that might not have seen that question come through. So is this course available at Maidstone or Medway or both?
We are based at Maidstone and only on the one campus, and then we're in the UCM building, so it's a university college in Maidstone. What we're doing is we're getting you into the environment with our higher education students, so you're actually on a level where you're in an area where we're getting you ready for the next step for university. So it's a smaller campus, nice and quiet, but we've got everything in there. So we've got all of our civil engineering students, our construction students. We've also got our apprentices in there. So you're around people that are going to be around where you are. Plus also it's an opportunity for you to network at your age with people that are in the industry, so you can ask them any questions that are there.
It's a really interesting space as well, isn't it, in terms of buildings and outdoor space for some of that practical work to take place in.
Yeah, so we utilise the building quite a lot. There's a fair few people need to move us out the way in the corridors when we're actually measuring out there, but
I think we may have lost Charlotte. Okay, so Charlotte, I think you're back. We lost you for a little bit. You were talking about having to move out of the way in corridors.
Oh, okay. Yeah, sorry. We're having to be moved out the corridors because we're doing measured surveys around the building and creating drawings from the physical building that we've got. So we've got that, and then the land outside the front. So we've got a good understanding of the space around us because we're usually doing traverses, or we're doing contour maps, or we're literally doing some linear surveying around there. So we are seen quite frequently by anyone that's actually around our area.
No, that's brilliant. Thank you. And there's a question in terms of that site in Maidstone. We've got someone asking if there are any videos or anything they can look at which will give them an idea about what that site is like.
I think we've got videos that have been taken recently that are currently on our website, aren't they, Steve?
Yeah, so I think if you head to the website and head to the construction built environment pages, what you'll find there are some 360-degree photos about some of the workshop spaces and classroom environments that we've got at that campus. But we've also been doing a fair amount of drone filming over the last few weeks as well. So you should get a really expansive view of what that site is like. But yeah, I mean, obviously, we would love to have you in to come and visit. Maybe there'll be an opportunity to do that a little bit later on in the year. So, certainly we would normally be running open events again around March. it's too early for me to say whether or not we'll be able to run those as physical events or not. But I think, Charlotte, we can safely say that if people apply for these programs, then as part of what we do to sort of help you get ready for the program a bit later on in the year, we would be looking to invite you in to come and spend some time with us on at the site as well. So you'll definitely have an opportunity to come and visit us at some point before you start your program. So Charlotte, we've not talked about entry requirements, have we? So this is a level 3 program. So what do people need to have to qualify to come onto this program?
Entry program for that is 5 GCSEs at grade 4 and above. Really would emphasise that English and maths are important within those. If you don't gain your 4 in English and maths, but you've got 4s in science, then that helps us out because you're actually using the maths applied and your writing style within those. So we can take those up, and we can also then put you through into English and maths while you're at Mid-Kent College. But obviously, if we've got those good levels at grade 4 or above, then that's our starting point where we need to work from.
Brilliant, thank you. We've got a question. Again, you can have a slight rest because I'll field this one for you. So we've got some questions around some of the measures that we've put in place around COVID. I'm not going to go into details with those today because actually, we're talking about programs that are due to start from next September onwards. Hopefully by then we'll be in a completely different place. If you did want to find out what our approach is at the moment, we're governed by the DfE guidelines, Department for Education, that is, and we are given quite strict instructions about what we do to keep our campuses safe for staff and students. If you want to find out more, if you go to our website, there's a coronavirus updates page on the site, but I'm not going to spend time today going through that, if that's okay, because like I say, hopefully by next September we'll be in a very different place. Charlotte, I've got a question for you, which is from me, really, because I think we've covered everything in the chat for the moment. I'll defer and ask you questions from the chat if they start to come through again. But you talked a lot about industry placement. And when we watched a short video from the student a little bit earlier on, she talked about her industry placement as well and that practical experience she got on site. So how does industry placement work? People might have work experience in schools where, it's maybe a 1 or 2 week placement. Is that the same here, or are we talking about something a little bit different?
We're actually looking at something quite different as far as this is concerned. I remember way back when I done my industry placement, it was 2 weeks. You were seen as a bit of something that you needed to be moved around within those 2 weeks, whereas currently we are 350 hours over the course of each year. That gives you the opportunity to go out into a workplace and really get hands-on. And so we've had people go out and with site managers, so they actually go out, and by the end of the period of time, so even after 100 hours or even after a week, they start actually giving them responsibilities to run parts of that site. So we've had it where one student has actually taken over the finishing and snagging of 2 buildings, and that was her responsibility every time she went out on that site, and she actually gained an apprenticeship at the end of that one. Again, with industry placement, I really try and put the emphasis on you to start looking for those, because I can find you places to go, but if you want to go into architecture, there's no point in me finding you a job as a quantity surveyor or as a trainee site supervisor. So in that instance, it's really sort of like, and getting your CVs together. It's even important now to get your CVs together. Some leaflet drops. We've got some really good links with some really big companies. So BAM are actually supporting us in the classroom at the moment. So they're freeing up some of their project managers to talk about project management and how they're dealing with it, how they plan that through. They also offer 10 days work experience. So if you sign up on the industry placement, you can actually do that now while you're at school, plus also get the links ready for when you come on to us later. But a lot of the companies will open arms to take you in, so they're willing to push forward. Even if it's a family member, you're more than welcome to still get experience from that way. You can have your experience practical and do the theory with us, or you can go in at a different level. So really, just you getting the opportunity to network at your age, it's so much you can put on your CV, and it's actually showing the skills that you can apply in a different environment.
Okay, that's brilliant. Thank you very much. So what I'm going to do, our time is almost gone, so I'm just going to put up some more slides and just kind of wrap things up. I will keep an eye on the chat, so if anything does come through last minute, we will try and pick that up. But just in terms of what comes next for you, really, I'm just going to skip through some of these because we've covered some of this stuff already. In terms of what comes next, if you have made the decision, actually, this sounds brilliant for me, I really want to get myself a place, when should I apply? Actually, the time is now. So our applications for September 2021 are open. These courses are live on our website right now. So you can use the link at the bottom of the page or head to midkent.ac.uk, and you'll be able to search and find that program, find the Construction Built Environment program, and click the Apply Now button. The application will take you about 15 minutes to complete, and we appreciate if you're applying and you're in year 11 at the moment, you're going to be applying using your predicted grades. So, and that's absolutely fine. So please use those as you're going through. If you're not sure or you need a little bit more information, there are a few ways that you can contact us. We've got a course inquiries line, which is 01634 40 20 20. If you'd rather use live chat rather than speak to somebody, then you can do that. And that's available on our website, and the address is there again. That service is actually staffed until about 5 o'clock today. So if you are desperate and you really want to get cracking today, then head over to the website, and there'll be people to help you on live chat there. And then the phone and the live chat will be reopening on Monday for you. And then we've got an email address there, of course, inquiries@midkent.ac.uk. So lots of different ways to get in touch. If the course inquiries team can't answer your question, then they'll get in touch with Charlotte. We'll make sure that we can get you speaking so that we can get your questions answered. If you're not sure because you don't know what your long-term aspirations are, or you've got a few different possibilities and you're trying to weigh up which way to go, we've actually got an impartial careers service at the college as well. And our careers team would be really happy to sit with you and just talk through your options. I say sit with you at the moment, it's a bit virtual, but we can have video calls and phone calls to help you work through some of those things. And there's lots of information about our careers team and their service and how to book an appointment on the website as well. So you can head over there. Just before we finish, I'm just going to say a couple more things. Then I'm going to pick up that last question in the chat because it's a really good one. On the right hand side of the screen at the top, you'll see we've got the chat panel and then two other tabs, one for polls, one for handouts. We would much rather be doing these things face to face, but we want to make these virtual sessions as useful as possible for you. So if you could just give us an idea about whether today was useful for you or not, that would be brilliant, because if we have to do these again later in the academic year, then we want to make changes and make improvements that will just make it really helpful for you. And in the handout section, you've got lots of PDFs that you can download there. So we've got some frequently asked questions about college life generally. We've got student finance information in there, details about how to apply for programs, but also there's a file in there called additional information, which for me is down at the bottom. Make sure that you download that one before you leave as well today, because that's one that Charlotte's put together specifically for you with more information about the built environment programs. So really useful resources there for you. So I just want to come back and we'll finish just with this last question. So really good question, Charlotte. What could people be doing now to prepare for this course? So if they're looking to start with us in September, what are some of the things that they could be doing now and throughout this year to put themselves in a really good place come next September?
What we typically would do is your CV. The CV is a really good starting point for you to start putting together and getting in the correct format. Start really looking at different companies and different places where you feel that that's where you would like to go. Investigating, say, the background, whether you've got the potential of an apprenticeship at the end of it. If it's just the field that you're looking at, really look at some local companies before you start expanding that search out. So at the moment, it's really some legwork as in to see, if I was to do this course, where would it lead me? Sometimes I actually ask my students to reverse engineer. So look at the universities and where they want to go, and then you can work backwards on how you can get there. So if you know that you wanted to go to University of Greenwich and study architecture, you look at the entry criteria, then when you're on the course, we know that we've got an aim to get you to that entry criteria by the end of the 2 years, and you've got your sort of like career path going. Even if it's sort of like, now I want to do architecture, but I've looked into it, it's 7 years, and I want to go into construction management, it's not a problem. It's just having a real understanding of the different things that are out there and actually where this can lead you. So at the moment, look on the Chartered Institute's website, see what's out there. You can actually, the Institute of Civil Engineering, you can join as a student member now. So you can actually get that experience, join in some of the networking and see what's going on. Even with my students through lockdown, I think it's brilliant. It's given us all an opportunity to open our eyes and look around us. So even in your local environment, I suggest you start looking up. Start looking up at the building, start looking at the different things that are there. What you'll find is, even walking down the road, you'll probably find 5 or 6 different styles of roof in there. Even looking on the road, you'll see some of the road markings. Some of the road workers have been in there and they've put marks on the floor, and getting the students looking at why is that actually there. So get some problem solving and get some real interest in your local area, because at the moment we've got a lot of opportunity to look at that, but really see what sparks your interest in construction, because I've really opened my eyes and found some fantastic things just around me and around the campus. So, that's a great starting point.
Brilliant. Thank you, Charlotte. That's fantastic advice. And I think what we'll do is leave it there. All I want to do to finish off is just say thank you for giving us half an hour of your Saturday to come and find out more about our programs today. And thank you, Charlotte, for giving us half an hour of your time today as well to come and talk to us about the programs and to answer those questions. Really useful time, and I hope you found it really interesting and worthwhile being here. If you do need any more help or advice, please just get in touch with us through any of our channels, and we'll make sure that we can get you the information you need to make decisions about your study from next September. So enjoy the rest of Saturday, enjoy the rest of the weekend. We hope to speak to you soon, but thanks for coming, and bye-bye.
Bye.